Stop scrolling. If you're preparing for an ERP interview, this message is for you. Have you ever wondered why you apply to so many companies but receive only one interview call? Today, every job posting attracts thousands of applicants. Getting even one interview call is already a great opportunity. Now imagine this for a moment. What if that one interview becomes the turning point that changes your entire future? That single interview could build your dream career, multiply your income, and give your family the brighter future you've always dreamed of.
But here's the real question. When that one opportunity finally knocks on your door, will you truly be ready to grab it? Before we jump into the interview questions, let's understand what interviewers are actually looking for when you enter the interview room.
An ERP interview is not just about testing your technical knowledge. It also reveals how professionally you think, communicate, and present yourself. As an ERP professional, you'll attend client meetings, work with different teams, and communicate directly with managers and decision makers. Confidence, communication, attitude, and professionalism matter just as much as your knowledge. Now, let's begin the ERP interview questions.
Good morning. Welcome to the interview. Let's begin with our first question. Could you please tell me, what is ERP?
ERP stands for Enterprise Resource Planning. It is an integrated business management system that connects all business departments into one centralized platform. It integrates departments like finance, HR, procurement, inventory, sales, and manufacturing into one unified system for better business operations.
Excellent answer. Now, let's move to the second question. Why do companies use ERP systems?
Companies use ERP to automate business processes, reduce manual work, improve accuracy, and make faster, smarter business decisions.
Very good. Let's move on to the third question. Can you name the main ERP modules?
The main ERP modules include finance, HR, procurement, inventory, sales, manufacturing, payroll.
Excellent. Let's continue with the fourth question. What is the difference between master data and transaction data?
Master data stores permanent records like customers, vendors, and items. Transaction data records daily activities like purchase orders, GRNs, and sales invoices.
Excellent. Let's move to the finance section. What is the difference between accounts payable and accounts receivable?
ERP integration allows different modules to share data automatically, eliminating duplicate entries and improving efficiency across the entire organization.
Excellent. Let's move to the finance section. What is the difference between accounts payable and accounts receivable?
Accounts payable is the money a company has to pay to suppliers. Accounts receivable is the money customers have to pay to the company.
Excellent. Now, let's move to the next question. How are chart of accounts, or COA, segments created?
COA segments are created based on reporting needs such as company, branch, cost center, and general ledger account. Together, they create a unique account code.
Excellent. Now, let's move to the next question. How are direct expenses recorded in an ERP system?
Direct expenses are usually recorded through a direct payment voucher or a purchase invoice, depending on the company's accounting policy.
Very good. Here's the next question. Can one direct payment voucher be used for multiple suppliers?
No. As a best practice, each supplier should have a separate direct payment voucher to maintain accurate accounting records and a clear audit trail.
Excellent. Here's the next question. Can you explain what an ERP workflow is with a simple business example?
An ERP workflow is a step-by-step business process that guides how a task moves from one stage to the next until it is completed. For example, in purchasing, the workflow is purchase requisition, purchase order, GRN, purchase invoice, and finally payment.
Excellent explanation. Now, can you tell me the difference between a GRN and a GIN in an ERP system?
GRN stands for Goods Receipt Note. It is used when goods are received from a supplier, and it increases inventory in the ERP system. On the other hand, GIN means goods issue note. It is used when goods leave the warehouse, so inventory decreases in the ERP system.
Excellent. Here's another important question. Is internal consumption recorded through a GRN or through a GIN?
Internal consumption is always recorded through a GIN because goods are issued from the warehouse for internal use, such as maintenance, production, or office supplies.
Great answer. Now here's the next question. Does inventory change on a GRN, on dispatch, or on both?
Inventory changes on both. A GRN increases inventory when goods are received, while dispatch decreases inventory when goods are delivered to customers.
Excellent. Now, here's the next question. What is the difference between dispatch and a GRN in an ERP system?
The main difference is their business purpose. GRN confirms that the company has received goods from a supplier, while dispatch confirms that the company has delivered goods to a customer.
Excellent. Let's move to the next question. What is the difference between a purchase order and a purchase invoice?
A purchase order is created before receiving goods. It is an official document sent to the supplier to request specific items, quantities, and agreed prices.
A purchase invoice is received after the goods arrive. It records the supplier's bill and creates the company's payment obligation.
Excellent. Now here's a manufacturing question. Can you explain what a bill of materials, or BOM, is in an ERP system?
A bill of materials, or BOM, is a complete list of all raw materials, quantities, and components required to manufacture one finished product.
Without a BOM, the ERP system cannot plan raw materials, calculate production costs, or track inventory consumption accurately.
Excellent. Here's the next question. What is the difference between a sales order and a sales invoice in an ERP system?
A sales order records the customer's request to buy products. A sales invoice is created after delivery to bill the customer and record the sale. For example, a customer places a sales order first. After the products are delivered, the ERP system generates a sales invoice for customer billing.
Great answer. Now, can you explain the difference between a goods receipt note and a goods issue note in an ERP system?
A goods receipt note, or GRN, records items received into inventory. A goods issue note, or GIN, records items issued from inventory for business operations. For example, receiving raw materials from a supplier creates a GRN. Issuing those materials to production creates a GIN.
Very good. Now, can you explain the difference between gross salary and net salary in an ERP payroll system?
Gross salary is the employee's total earnings before deductions. Net salary is the amount the employee receives after all deductions are applied. Want to crack your ERP interview with confidence? Subscribe now, because Part 2 includes real ERP scenarios, advanced questions, and practical interview challenges.